Hello and welcome to the show. This week's FailRace versus the community, we were running open C-Class cars. Race 1 went to the Road America West alternate track, a track that I do quite enjoy. The first corner here is, shall we say, somewhat evil. There is a very, very horrible bump on the first corner. It's also very, very narrow. And the BMW that we're following at the moment, I got a little bit caught out, kind of got stuck on the outside of turn 1. Amazingly, we didn't have any. I think we would have like one spinner further back, but it's a rather notorious corner. It's such a tight, narrow section of the track. Most cars made it through there, all right on the opening lap. As you come through the next section of corners, a Subaru BRZ is absolutely flying through here. Has a look at the inside. Tries to carry a little bit too much speed. The BMW ends up being pushed a little bit wide, and then out of nowhere, a Ford Transit appears and gets the position. Yes, the Transit, amazingly, was up into fourth position. The BMW's probably taken a little bit of damage. It's trying to find a way back pass. Is a little bit too far back. This is a good track for overtaking on. I do like the Road America, the shortened layout here. It is a pretty good track when it comes to overtaking, as the Lotus Elan is going to show now, trying to find his way past a Camaro, and just having so much more grip. Gets to the inside as they run around. It is a very, very long corner of the final one, but the Elan gets the manoeuvre done. In fact, the Eagle Talon gets past as well. Unfortunately, things were to go wrong for the little Lotus across the bump. As it gets, I'm amazed just how high the back of the car got in the air from that one. The downsides of running a tiny little lightweight car on this track, yeah, the bump is nasty to pretty much every vehicle, let alone to the little sort of tiny cars. The Lotus came off worse there. The Eagle Talon would then set about catching up to the BMW, trying to find a way past up the inside into this particular corner. You can get overtakings done there. The BMW is not giving up without a fight, keeps it around the outside, which now puts him on the inside for the very long corner. Again, you can go around the outside. It's very unlikely. The Eagle Talon cuts to the inside. There's a little bit of a bump between them. There's also a little bit of lag going on in this race. The Eagle Talon gets the move done. The Lotus, I also love how the indicators on the front of the Lotus light up when it's under braking. Why, I don't know. It's something that happens. I'm very confused by that one, but yeah. Further up the field, and as you can see, lag was playing a little bit of a part. It kind of screwed me over in my Cortina. I then ended up all out of shape, and I don't know where I'm going, playing on the grass a little bit. Lag wasn't as bad this week as it has been in some previous ones, but yeah, there were some slightly scary moments. After the little lag scare, a Camaro and the Transit that was still hanging on in there were right behind me. The Transit's trying the brave manoeuvre around the outside, just doesn't quite have the grip. It's still right there. I've just got a little bit of safety back to the Camaro now. The Transit is just hasn't quite got the grip as you would imagine from a great big van through the long corner, and will gradually drop back. It does have a decent straight line speed, which is surprising, but yeah, through some of the longer corners it does struggle. A little bit later on, I was to work my way back up to sort of fight for third place against a Chrysler 300C that had an awful lot more straight line speed than my little Lotus Cortina. You saw I was right on the bumper of the Chrysler coming around the first couple of corners, and then by the end of the straight, the Chrysler's got quite a sizable margin back to me, and then under braking and through the next corner I can sort of close it up. I've made up so much time through the corners. Cortina is a pretty damn nice car, I have to say, in C-Class. I did like this vehicle. Perhaps a little bit oversteery for my liking, but yeah, it's got an awful lot of grip. I can just carry so much more corner speed as I get to the inside of the Chrysler, and I think a little bit of lag plays a part as the Chrysler gets fired a little bit wide through the next corner, and my Cortina is up into third place. At the front, though, it was a Pontiac Firebird Trans Am that was going to take the victory. Not a car that I would necessarily have expected. If you'd shown me the list of cars that were in this race, probably wouldn't have put this at the top. But it was to take victory, and take quite a comfortable victory as well. ahead of the rest of the field. Subaru BRZ was to get second place, while the Chrysler would end up in third after I put a wheel on the grass and may have slightly spun my my Lotus a little bit. But yeah, the front three on this one were fairly spread out. There was fairly sizable gaps between all of them. Our second race, we went to one of the shortened versions of Yas Marina, the version of the track that I quite like for versus the community race. Fiat 131 has absolutely flown off the the start line there as we come into turn one. A Civic gets things a little bit wrong further back, and then all manner of lag goes on as a muscle car of some description gets fired on its roof for Paul Renault 5, ends up clattering the wall. Yeah, again, lag was being a little bit of a pain as another Firebird going, taking an interesting line through that particular corner, sort of all over the grass. A Ford Escort gets very brave as they go too wide. And you can fit two cars through here, and in C-Class you're a little bit more likely to get two cars through here, because cars are just a little bit slower. It's a scary corner, going too wide. The Escort's on two wheels across the curb, and the Integra has managed to keep the position for now. In fact, the Integra's got so much corner speed is around the outside of another Firebird. Runs a little bit wide. The Escort gets the best run out of the corner of the three, and then can out-drag everybody down this short straight. The Integra, quick through the corners, just lacking that little bit of straight line speed. The Firebird ends up out wide. The Escort's a bit sideways across the curbs, and then I'm coming to join in the fun as well as we come down the start-finish straight with the Cortina that has decent straight line speed. It's certainly not the quickest car here, but it has some straight line speed at least, as I get past the pair of them as we come up towards turn one. The Integra is very good on the brakes, has a dive to the inside. I'm stuck around the outside for turn one. Try to keep it there for the next corner, but can't really do anything about it at this particular moment in time. And the Integra's got this position back in front. The Escort is very sideways up ahead. Now I'm getting brave. I've got the acceleration over the Integra. I'm hoping I have enough grip to try and squeeze my car around the outside, and sure enough, I managed to keep it around the outside, but I'm then on the outside for the next corner as well, and I can't quite make that work. And S2000 is exploring the track. The Escort's on two wheels again. I'm still stuck on the outside of the Integra, trying to find a way past. Eventually, I get the move done, and I have just enough straight line speed to out-drag it before we get to the next corner. Yeah, an exciting first couple of laps at the front. A little bit later on, this is the battle for second place. I think it is. A Scirocco was holding the position, gets in a little bit of a tangle with a Firebird as we come through the first corners. I'm there, the Integra is still there, the S2000 is coming with us, and we're side by side through this next corner. This time I'm stuck out wide. The Scirocco is a little bit slow off the corner. I'm practically pushing him down this next straight. The Scirocco gets a little bit of understeer. I see an opportunity to put my Cortina up the inside. It all gets a little bit close, and this is the thing that happens when you sort of racing so closely together. Scirocco ends up out wide through one corner, loses almost two positions. Does lose the second position as the Integra goes around the outside of it, and now the Volkswagen's under pressure from an S2000 that fits through a pretty small. That's a brave manoeuvre as a Fiat comes very sideways in the background. It's a brave manoeuvre around the outside of that corner, running it quite close to the wall. Scirocco's trying to come back at the Honda, but can't quite fit his car in the gap. And then we have the drag race down the start-finish straight. What car's got the fastest straight-line speed? Surprisingly, out of this bunch, the Scirocco is. I was expecting the S2000 to be the quickest, but no, the Volkswagen flies along down the straight. It's just a little bit too far back, and perhaps doesn't quite have the brakes of the two cars in front. He tries to get to the inside, can't quite make the move stick. Gets a little bit of a bump from the Honda and has to concede the position. At the front, it was great fun, this race, I have to say. I caught up to the second place Firebird and had to do another manoeuvre around this particular corner. Most of the overtaking was going on that corner, which is rare because that's a silly corner to try overtakes on. But again, managing to go around the outside of another car at that particular turn. At the front, there was none of the excitement for the Fiat 131. Get the lead in the opening lap and then vanish. Quite frankly. I mean, it did help him that all of us were busy squabbling over various positions further back. But yeah, the Fiat would be long gone down the road at the front. Quite a lonely race for him. Elsewhere, though, this was a very good fun race. It was a shame about a bit of a lag spike on the first lap towards turn one, because if quite a few cars ended up getting broken and sort of out of position. The racing wasn't done further back, while I managed to pull a little bit of a gap back to the third place battle. The Firebird was frantically trying to hold on from the Integra having all of the corner speed, but the Firebird being the quicker car in a straight line, and the S2000 wasn't far back either. The Integra has a big dive into the final corner, but can't quite get it stopped in time. The Pontiac is to the inside on the exit, and we've seen before the Integra struggles with the straight line speed, and sure enough, the Firebird can get the third position, the Integra in fourth, and the S2000 has to settle for fifth. But that wasn't the only last lap overtake. Further back, I think this was over around 9th or 10th place, between a wooden Chevelle and a Mazda RX-8. The Renault 5 was a lap down after being lag killed. We come up towards the final corner. The Chevelle just outbrakes himself a little bit, just runs a little bit wide on the exit. The RX-8 gets himself to the inside, and then we have another drag race down the start-finish straight. You would think maybe the Chevelle can do it, but no, the Mazda just beats him to the finish line to claim that particular position. Our third and final race would go to the Catalonia National Circuit, and lag was to be interesting in this one. Already there was one car was killed pretty much on the start line with a laggy car, and as you can see, things were not going so well up towards turn one. A Transit got killed, a DS3's on its roof. Don't ask how it got there, because I have no bloody... Well, I do have a clue, as you saw the jumping BMW. It shouldn't have been on its roof for that particular part of the track. That was a scary sight, I have to say. Coming around the first corner and sort of turn in, you can't see very much of the turn one here, because it just fills with smoke, and there's a DS3 on its roof. That was an interesting experience. Lotus Elan was going around the outside of a fellow Elan, as one of them gets very, very sideways through that corner. And the Escort that we're following here, ignore damage on cars and smoking engines. It's completely irrelevant because it's all laggy as hell. So yeah, some cars show damage, so it's completely useless. Pretty much. This little group here would be pretty damn close through the opening laps. BMW 1M leading an Escort and an Elan, trying to make his way through the field as they round the final corner. Again, another decent long straight on this track to test out the cars. The BMW gets the better run onto the straight, has a little bit more acceleration onto the straight, but it is no match for the Escort, and the Elan is the quickest of the three of them. As we come up towards turn one, the Escort goes to the inside. BMW stays out a little bit wide. The Elan sees an opportunity and fires his car up the inside. I love how the collision between the Elan and the BMW has no effect on the BMW whatsoever. The Elan is so tiny and light that it doesn't bother the Beamer. The Escort then puts a wheel out a little bit too wide over the curb and has a bit of a sideways moment and loses the position. After I'd got lag killed into this particular hairpin on the opening lap, I was trying to work my way back through the field, and I had the scary task of trying to get past the very laggy BMW. This was a terrifying thing that some of us further back were coming up against. I thought I got a good run out of the corner. I did get a good run. The BMW decided he didn't want to let me past, and I got lag killed. Completely and utterly killed the Cortina. Yeah, that broke everything. A spectacular flip, though. I was quite pleased with the... with the flip. So yeah, I was well and truly out of this one. Got it going again, but yeah, I was quite a long way down. The Elan would continue its march through the field, getting up to the top two and trying to find a way past the Honda CRX. The Elan was stupidly quick. This car had so much straight line speed as well as having an awful lot of grip. Could outdrag the Honda down the start-finish straight, get to the inside of turn one, and that would promote him up into second, despite the fact it shows him having a smoky engine. Ignore that, that's the replay being dodgy. This little group of cars would remain close throughout the race. I think it's 4th, 5th, 6th and 7th, with me in the middle, having pitted and being a lap down. I was just joining in the fun. I was trying to be a little bit careful and not sort of overtake people and screw up their own race. But yeah, these lot here would be close for pretty much the entire race. There wasn't much overtaking at this with these cars. They kind of remained in this position as the Toyota gets on two wheels quite a lot through there. They kind of remained in these positions throughout the entire race, and that was a lot of what went on in this race. There wasn't a huge amount of overtaking. Cars were sort of close together. The Toyota gets a very good run out of the final corner, but there wasn't a huge amount of actual overtaking. The Escort is just a little bit too quick in a straight line. The Toyota is too far back now by the time they get to... I mean, you'd have to have a huge lunge and you'd have to be incredibly good on the brakes if you're going to be able to do anything. The Toyota may be slightly better through the corners, but it's just too far back. The Escort can make up too much margin when it comes to the straight for the Toyota to try anything. At the front, and as we come onto the final lap, the Elan was all over the back of a BMW 2002 Turbo, trying to find a way past. He gets to the inside. Amazingly, the BMW holds it, despite going a bit sideways. That curb's quite dangerous, we've seen in this video. Yeah, despite going out wide and over the curb, the BMW gets away with it, again, through these next fast corners. The Elan's running out of time, running out of places that he can get an overtaking manoeuvre done. Your best bet is into this next corner. The BMW has just enough acceleration, just enough straight line speed to hold off the Elan, and can be very defensive under braking. And it was while these two are fighting so hard, they've slowed each other down enough to let the CRX join right in with the battle. Again, we've got the indicators going on the on the little Lotus. The BMW is just quick enough again. He can get to the inside, he can cover the line, and the Elan can't do anything about it. And these final few corners are very tight and very narrow and very hard to overtake through here. The Elan is across the curb and gets kicked out sideways and loses too much time to the BMW as they round the final corner. In fact, the Elan is under a little bit of pressure from the Honda. Fortunately for the Lotus, he has enough straight line speed, so it's first place for the BMW. The Elan takes seconds, with the Honda taking third. Yeah, very close. Top three up here. There would be a rather amusing occurrence further. I got lag killed again. That was the third time in one race for me in this one. But on the final lap, this group of four cars that had remained so close, I think someone was dropping oil on the track. That's what it is. As the BMW clatters the curb on the inside, and he goes around in a circle. And yeah, I've never quite seen have two cars spin out on the final lap. The BMW was the first to go. I guess everybody was just pushing so hard in trying to make up a position. The Toyota was still all over the back of the Escort, trying to get a good run as the BMW goes round. Toyota's trying to get a good run out the final corner. I'm not sure if he's so far, sort of so close to the back of the Escort, he can't quite see where he is on the track. Dips a wheel over the dirt, and that's the Toyota round in the circle as well. And there's a yellow Fiat 131 that makes up two places on the final corner without having to do anything. So yeah, he got quite lucky on that one. Anyway, that is it for this week's FailRace versus the community. Had some quite good racing in this one. Again, internet was being a little bit, or lag was being a little bit of a pain in some of these, but yeah, it was quite fun with these C-Class cars. Yeah, had some decent close racing. The next FailRace versus the community shall be on Thursday the 29th of January. We're going to be on Forza Horizon 2 racing some S1 class Group B rally cars. You are going to need the Storm Island rally expansion pack thing if you want to compete, because we're going to be racing on there doing some sort of extreme off-roading. If you want to sign up and take part, then you can go to our forums. There will be a link in the description. However, that's it for me, so thank you very much for watching, and until next time, goodbye.